Chosen one, you are being moved, not by coincidence, but by command. The invisible winds around you are not chaos, they are choreography. What feels uncertain now is simply heaven's rearrangement of your path. Because right now, something holy is whispering in the silence. Don't turn back, step forward. The signs are not random. Years ago, a young pilot named Chesley Sullenberger made a decision that defied fear and saved hundreds. When both engines failed mid-air, logic said, crash. But instinct, that divine whisper, said, land on the Hudson. He listened, and the world called it a miracle. You too have been placed in moments where reason collapses and faith must rise. You feel the tremble of uncertainty, the weight of risk, but somewhere deep, something pure tells you to trust the unexplainable. That's not intuition, that's divine direction. The same unseen guidance that landed that plane safely is now landing you exactly where you need to be. Heaven is shifting your surroundings. Have you noticed people leaving your life without warning? Plans failing for no clear reason? It's not punishment, it's purification. God removes what was draining you so He can release what will elevate you. There's a strange peace that comes after divine disruption. You cry for what was lost, not realizing heaven is clearing the runway for your next blessing. Every delay, every rejection, every goodbye, all of it is divine design. Angels are repositioning your future while you're still trying to understand your past. When you finally see what's ahead, you'll thank God for every door that slammed shut, because those closures were coded with protection. The silence is a strategy. You keep asking, why can't I hear from God right now? But silence doesn't mean absence, it means alignment. The teacher never speaks during the test because the answers are already inside you. In this stillness, angels are recalibrating your heart's compass. The noise had to stop for you to hear the truth, that not every opportunity is divine, not every voice deserves your energy, and not every battle is yours to fight. Your power grows in the pause. What feels like waiting is actually weighing. Heaven adding strength to your spirit before the breakthrough arrives. The pressure is proof. When gold is purified, it's melted first. When diamonds are formed, it's under crushing pressure. So if you feel squeezed by life, understand this. Pressure is heaven's signature. You've been wondering, why is this so hard if I'm chosen? Because chosen ones are refined, not comforted. Angels don't hover over easy paths. They stand guard over divine missions. Every sleepless night, every unanswered prayer, every storm you survived, all of it was heaven confirming your worth. Pressure isn't meant to destroy you. It's meant to define you. The guidance comes through your peace. Stop chasing signs outside yourself. Start listening to the peace within you. When your heart feels calm about a choice, that's heaven's yes. When unease grows inside you, that's heaven's warning. God's voice won't compete with chaos. It speaks through calm. Angels don't shout, they nudge. You might feel a pull towards something new, a quiet desire that refuses to fade. That's your divine compass pointing home. You don't need to have the whole map, just trust the next step that feels aligned. Because your peace is the plan. Destiny requires movement. You've been standing at the edge of something sacred, waiting for certainty. But faith was never about certainty, it's about courage. The angels guiding you can't move for you, they can only show the direction. The next miracle requires your motion. So go. Apply for that opportunity. End that draining relationship. Speak what you've been silencing. Move in the direction of peace, and heaven will meet you halfway. Every time you take a step, the path reveals itself. Angels walk with those who walk by faith. What you lost was never yours to keep. There was a time when everything seemed stable, friendships, plans, even faith. But suddenly, it all slipped away. You questioned God, asking, why would you take what I prayed for? Yet, chosen one, what you call loss, heaven calls release. Think of a tree in autumn. The leaves fall not because the tree is dying, but because it's preparing for new life. You're shedding what no longer serves your growth. Those people who left weren't enemies, they were seasons. Those failures weren't rejections, they were redirections. You're not being emptied for punishment, you're being cleared for purpose. The delay is divine preparation. We live in a world obsessed with speed, quick answers, instant validation, fast success. But heaven moves differently. God doesn't rush what's eternal. Remember Joseph in Egypt? Betrayed by his brothers, imprisoned for years, forgotten by men, yet remembered by God. Every delay in his life was a setup for destiny. And when the time was right, one divine call lifted him from the prison to the palace. You're not behind schedule, you're on God's timeline. Every quiet season is filled with unseen construction. Angels are building what your faith has been asking for. When it arrives, it won't just fit your life, it will fulfill your calling. The attacks reveal your anointing. You've noticed it, the sudden increase in challenges, misunderstandings, and spiritual fatigue. That's not a coincidence. The brighter your light, the harder darkness tries to interrupt it. Spiritual warfare doesn't show up to those sitting still. It targets those about to rise. The pressure you feel isn't proof of failure, it's evidence of impact. Heaven wouldn't allow the storm unless it was clearing the air for your next elevation. When you recognize that your struggle is spiritual, your fear turns into authority. You stop asking, "Why me?" and start declaring, "Try me," because the chosen don't crumble, they conquer. Heaven speaks through disruptions. Sometimes the greatest blessings come wrapped in confusion. Plans collapse, opportunities vanish, people change, but in every interruption, there's instruction. Jonah tried to run from his calling, and a storm redirected his ship. That storm wasn't punishment, it was positioning. God used chaos to steer him back to purpose. And maybe, just maybe, that's what's happening with you. The job that didn't work out, the door slammed, the plan that fell apart. Each one was heaven saying, "You're meant for something higher." The moment you stop fighting the redirection, peace floods in. Because surrender is where divine alignment begins. You are walking through sacred fire. There's a reason God didn't shield you from every wound. Fire doesn't just burn, it reveals. It shows what's pure, what's strong, what can survive the heat. Think of the 3 men in Babylon's furnace. They were thrown into flames, but came out untouched. The miracle wasn't that they avoided the fire, it was that the fire couldn't touch them. And when they emerged, everyone saw who had been with them all along, the divine presence. You've walked through betrayal, heartbreak, and loss, yet here you are. Not destroyed, but transformed. Heaven didn't save you from the fire. It saved you through it. Heaven is aligning divine helpers. The next chapter of your story won't be walked alone. Angels are sending people who will recognize your value instantly, not question it. Helpers who won't compete with your light, but reflect it. When Ruth met Boaz, it wasn't luck, it was divine alignment. One moment of faithfulness led her to a destiny she didn't even see coming. The same unseen hand is arranging your connections now. You don't need to chase anyone. The right souls are already being drawn toward your energy. When divine timing meets divine relationships, acceleration begins. You'll know them by the peace they bring. The vision is returning stronger. You once dreamed boldly, before disappointment dulled your fire. You believed God could do the impossible until life told you to be realistic. But chosen one, the dream isn't dead, it's dormant. Heaven never cancels what it conceives. Every setback was secretly strengthening your vision. You had to lose your illusion of control to regain your clarity of purpose. The dream is waking up again, but this time, you're wiser, purer, and unshakable. When God resurrects a dream, it doesn't return the same, it returns multiplied. You'll recognize it not by its size, but by its peace. Your discernment is being sharpened. Lately, you've started to feel a strange sensitivity to people's energy, to conversations, even to rooms that once felt fine but now feel heavy. That's not paranoia, that's spiritual maturity. Heaven is upgrading your discernment. When you prayed for protection, God didn't just build walls, He gave you vision. The ability to see before it strikes, to feel when something isn't right, even when everything looks perfect. That sudden unease, that's an angelic warning. That sense of peace, that's divine approval. Discernment is the gift that keeps you safe when you can't yet see what's coming. Don't ignore it. Trust the signals heaven is sending through your spirit. The wilderness is not a waste. Every chosen one walks through isolation before revelation. It's the in-between season, not where you were, not yet where you're meant to be. You feel forgotten, unseen, disconnected. But in reality, this is where heaven hides you to prepare you. Jesus was tested in the wilderness before he was entrusted with miracles. David tended sheep before he ruled nations. The waiting room you're in is holy ground. You're not stuck, you're being strengthened. The wilderness strips away distractions so only destiny remains. Don't curse the silence. It's the space where your power is forming. Your obedience is unlocking overflow. You've started obeying those quiet nudges, walking away from certain habits, choosing peace over drama, forgiving when you'd rather retaliate. And though no one applauds it, heaven records every act of obedience. When Elijah obeyed the command to visit the widow of Zarephath, provision met him there. The miracle wasn't where he was, it was where obedience led him. The same principle governs your path. Each time you act in faith, unseen blessings shift into position. Obedience may look costly, but disobedience is far more expensive. Every yes to God is a seed that grows into supernatural favor. You're being prepared for public revelation. There's a reason your growth has been quiet, your progress hidden. Heaven doesn't rush exposure, it perfects the vessel first. You've been refined in private so you can rise in power publicly. Moses spent 40 years in obscurity before leading millions to freedom. His voice was strengthened in silence. Likewise, God has been working behind the scenes, shaping your tone, your spirit, your vision. When your season of unveiling comes, it will look like sudden success to others, but you'll know it was years of divine rehearsal. Heaven doesn't waste time, it invests it, and your investment season is about to yield a return. The old identity no longer fits. You've outgrown the version of yourself that needed validation, that chased approval, that shrank for others' comfort. The spiritual awakening you've gone through has changed your frequency, and that's why some connections no longer resonate. You're not cold or distant, you're ascending. The same energy that once drew certain people now repels them because your vibration has elevated. This is sacred evolution, not isolation. You're stepping out of imitation into authenticity. Heaven is rewriting your name, not the one the world gave you, but the one you were born with in the Spirit, chosen, anointed, unstoppable. Divine justice is being released. You've stayed silent while others misunderstood you. You chose integrity when lies spread easily. And even though it seemed unfair, you refused to fight back in the flesh. And that's why heaven is moving now. God's justice doesn't always come fast, but it comes full. The same hands that were raised against you will soon be lifted in awe at how God restored you. The truth will rise without you having to speak a word. You don't have to chase revenge when the universe already carries your case. The scales are shifting. The energy you gave in faith is returning in double measure. You are standing in divine timing. For so long, it felt like you were missing the moment, too early for some things, too late for others. But now, everything is aligning. The signs, the confirmations, the peace, they all point to one truth: it's time. When Esther was placed in the palace, she didn't know why until the appointed hour came. The same applies to you. Every delay, every detour, every hidden season led to this alignment. You are no longer waiting for your time has arrived. Step forward with holy confidence. Angels have already gone ahead of you to prepare the path. Your spiritual authority is awakening. For too long, you've underestimated the power within you, mistaking humility for weakness. But chosen one, God didn't create you to bow to fear. He anointed you to command the storm. When Jesus spoke to the wind, it wasn't arrogance, it was alignment. He knew creation responds to those who know their origin. And you too carry that same authority. The enemy's greatest trick is to make you forget your divine dominion. Stop asking for permission to walk in power. Speak life, speak protection, speak breakthrough, because heaven has already backed your voice with eternal weight. You're learning to rest in warfare. You've spent years fighting battles that drained your soul, trying to fix, prove, or defend. But now you're realizing that spiritual maturity isn't a constant struggle, it's peaceful confidence. When Jesus slept through the storm, it wasn't denial, it was dominance. His rest was a declaration that chaos couldn't control him. That's where you are now. You're no longer reacting, you're responding. No longer pleading, you're proclaiming. Rest doesn't mean giving up. It means trusting that heaven is still active while you recover. Your peace is the loudest sermon your enemies will ever hear. The atmosphere around you is changing. Lately, the air feels different, lighter, sacred, charged. That's not imagination, it's elevation. When your spirit shifts frequencies, your environment begins to realign. Old patterns collapse, stale opportunities dissolve, and fresh doors begin to appear. You might notice divine coincidences, conversations that confirm your next step, numbers repeating, strangers speaking words that mirror your prayers. That's heaven synchronizing with your soul. You're stepping into the realm where manifestation meets faith. Don't fear the unfamiliar, it's the evidence of your expansion. Every vibration of peace is proof that heaven is near. The test was never about loss. You thought the challenge was about what you were losing, money, people, comfort, but it was never about that. It was about trust. Abraham was tested not to measure his love for Isaac, but his trust in God's promise. And when he proved that trust, heaven restored more than he offered. The same spiritual law holds true for you. You're not being stripped, you're being strengthened. What you gave up will return purified, multiplied, and glorified. The test was temporary, but the reward is eternal. You've crossed into a new dimension of favor. This is the part where old battles lose their power. The warfare that used to shake you now barely stirs you. That's not numbness, it's mastery. When a seed finally breaks through the soil, it doesn't go back underground. Likewise, you've outgrown certain fears and limitations. Heaven is responding to your endurance with visible favor. The opportunities coming your way won't require striving, they'll flow with grace. You're no longer chasing blessings, blessings are locating you. Divine ease is the new rhythm of your anointing. Your voice carries heavenly frequency. Words are no longer casual for you, they are creative. What you speak now manifests faster because your spirit has been purified through fire. When the prophet Ezekiel spoke to dry bones, he didn't describe death, he declared life. And that's your new calling, to speak resurrection into what looks impossible. Every decree you make from faith, not fear, is echoed by angels. Guard your language, chosen one. You are not merely speaking, you are building. Each word is constructing the reality heaven showed you in secret. The unseen realm is responding to you. If you've been feeling strange sensations, chills during prayer, goosebumps when reading scripture, sudden peace after crying, understand this. The spiritual realm is acknowledging your awakening. You're more aware now, not because you changed, but because your frequency rose high enough to perceive what was always around you. Angels aren't coming, they've been waiting. But now, your spirit is tuned to hear them. This awareness is sacred. Don't fear it. You are being trained to see through the veil, to recognize divine presence in the ordinary moments of life. Your gratitude is opening portals of provision. Gratitude isn't just an emotion, it's energy. It tells the universe, I already trust the outcome. That vibration invites acceleration. When Jesus thanked God before multiplying the loaves, he proved a truth few understand. Gratitude before manifestation releases supernatural increase. You're learning to thank God before you see results, and that's shifting everything. Doors are opening not because you demanded them, but because your heart became a magnet for abundance. Gratitude is heaven's password, and you've finally learned how to speak it fluently. You're entering a season of divine recompense. What you lost in tears, you'll gain in testimony. Heaven is balancing the scales. Years of quiet faithfulness, of doing the right thing when no one saw, are now rippling back as reward. Job lost everything, but the restoration came in double. The same principle governs your destiny. Every pain you endured was storing up blessings in heaven's vault. The release has begun. Prepare for reversal, not slow, but sudden. The kind of restoration that makes people say, only God could have done that. Your next move will confirm your calling. This is the moment the message becomes movement. The whispers, the waiting, the warfare, all of it has led to this divine turning point. You're standing at the threshold of purpose, and the angels who have guided you thus far are now surrounding your next step. Don't second-guess this transition. It's sacred. What you do next will echo for generations. Heaven has already scripted your victory. Now it's time to walk it out. You are not walking into the unknown. You are walking into everything you were promised. Your energy is becoming a weapon of light. The more you heal, the more your presence itself becomes warfare. Darkness cannot coexist with someone who carries divine peace. Every time you choose forgiveness over anger, compassion over ego, patience over reaction, the atmosphere shifts. You are no longer fighting like before. You are vibrating victory. The higher your frequency, the fewer your enemies, because the light you emit blinds everything that once sought to break you. This is why peace feels costly. It dismantles unseen darkness. Stay radiant. Your calm is now your armor. The past is releasing its hold. Some memories used to sting, faces, failures, moments that replayed like loop. But lately, something feels lighter. You're remembering without reliving. That's healing. That's heaven closing old portals of pain. The past doesn't dissolve when you forget it, it dissolves when you forgive it. Each time you release resentment, divine energy fills that space with peace. It's not erasing history, it's reclaiming your power. You no longer owe your pain a voice. The future is speaking louder. Let it. You are being crowned with clarity. For so long, confusion clouded your choices. Mixed signals, uncertain paths, blurred visions. But clarity is not something you find. It's something heaven reveals when the noise is gone. When Solomon asked God for wisdom, not wealth, the heavens opened and gave him both. The same happens when your motives purify. Clarity descends like light. You're starting to see clearly again who's genuine, what's divine, and where to direct your focus. Clarity is not calm, it's courage wearing peace. The old spiritual battles are closing. You've fought cycles. Recurring pain, familiar storms, same patterns repeating under different faces. But something in your spirit feels final now. You're not reacting to those same triggers anymore. That's a breakthrough. The enemy doesn't fight what no longer threatens him. The battle stopped because you won. The lesson has been learned. The test is complete. You've graduated from survival to strategy. Heaven is releasing you from warfare because you've proven maturity. Peace is not the absence of war, it's the reward of wisdom. Your gifts are demanding expression. There's a fire inside you that won't stay quiet anymore. Ideas, visions, words, creations. These are not random passions, they're divine assignments. Heaven planted these seeds in your spirit long before the world tried to silence you. You're not being called to create, you're being commanded to release. Because someone's healing depends on your obedience. When you express what God placed in you, you multiply light in the world. And that's the true purpose of every chosen one, to let heaven speak through human hands. You're walking in ancestral prayers. The blessings now unfolding in your life didn't start with you, they were spoken generations ago. Someone before you prayed for a future they never saw, and you are the answer. Every breakthrough you experience is a continuation of a legacy heaven refused to let die. You are the living fulfillment of prayers whispered by the faithful long gone. Honor that lineage. Live boldly, love deeply, stand firmly, because you carry more than destiny. You carry divine inheritance. The mirror is showing your true reflection. You used to look at yourself and see flaws, mistakes, failures, but now, something has shifted. You're beginning to recognize divinity within your humanity. You are not a mistake trying to earn mercy. You are mercy made manifest. Every scar tells heaven's story of survival through you. The enemy tried to distort your reflection so you'd forget who you are. But when you see yourself through God's eyes, shame loses its grip. You are not becoming, you are remembering. The spiritual harvest is ripe. You've sown faithfully through tears, patience, and silence. And though nothing seemed to sprout, heaven was watering your seeds underground. Now the season has shifted. What was hidden will soon be visible. The blessings won't come one by one. They'll overflow all at once. Every effort, every prayer, every act of faith was a deposit. Now, divine interest is compounding. Prepare for the harvest. It's not coming later, it's happening now. Your divine assignment carries generational weight. The vision inside you isn't small because the impact it carries isn't temporary. God chose you to break what's been repeating for decades: fear, lack, silence, limitation. You're not just building a better life, You're building a spiritual blueprint for those who come after you. The angels guiding you aren't protecting one destiny, they're protecting a bloodline shift. This is why the battle felt heavier, because you're changing history, not just habits. You are the prayer your generation has been waiting for. Heaven is opening your next door. The signs are undeniable: increased peace, divine confirmation, inner confidence. The energy has shifted because your season has changed. The waiting is over. The path is ready. What's ahead will require everything you've learned in the storm: discernment, obedience, trust, and faith. But now, you walk not as the wounded, but as the warrior healed. The angels who guided your last move are already waiting at your next destination. Take the step. The door won't open until you approach it. You are walking in prophetic fulfillment. Everything that once felt delayed now makes divine sense. The confusion, the waiting, the closed doors, all of it was heaven aligning timing with transformation. You had to become what you prayed for before you could receive it. Prophecy doesn't unfold in comfort, it unfolds in character. God doesn't deliver promises to impatience. He delivers them to those who are ready. The words spoken over you long ago are no longer pending. They are activating. You're not waiting for prophecy to come true. You are living inside its revelation. You've stepped into your spiritual maturity. Once you chased signs and begged for clarity. Now you move in quiet confidence. You've learned that faith isn't loud, it's steady. You've stopped arguing with fear and started agreeing with purpose. Heaven is proud of this version of you, the one who no longer crumbles at confusion, the one who prays not to escape the storm but to understand it. This is what growth feels like: peace in uncertainty, strength in surrender, grace in motion. You're not the same soul that started this journey. You've evolved into the vessel heaven intended you to be. Divine acceleration has begun. What took others years will take you months. What once crawled will now run. When heaven declares, now, the natural realm has no choice but to yield. Acceleration is not random, it's a reward for endurance. You waited when others rushed. You trusted when others doubted. That's why your breakthrough will come in waves, not drops. Suddenly, everything will make sense. The connections, opportunities, resources, all appearing like pieces snapping into place. Don't question it, just move with grace. Heaven moves fast when your heart is finally ready. The illusion of control has been broken. You used to plan every detail, fight every outcome, and resist every redirection. But the more you tried to control, the more exhausted your soul became. Then, heaven intervened, not to punish, but to free you. Control is a cage disguised as safety. But surrender? That's liberation. When you finally let go, you discover that life flows smoothly when you stop wrestling with what's already written. The moment you release the pen, God started writing again. You're not losing control, you're gaining divine rhythm. The storm was your certification. Chosen one, heaven doesn't give credentials on paper, it gives them through pain. Every trial, betrayal, and night of tears was your spiritual training ground. No school could have prepared you for this wisdom. No mentor could have taught you this discernment. You earned your anointing in fire, and that's why it can't be faked or stolen. The storm didn't come to disqualify you. It came to validate you. Every scar now shines as proof. You've survived the test and carry heaven's endorsement. You're being trusted with revelation. As your faith deepens, heaven starts sharing secret insights that others overlook suddenly stir your spirit. Scriptures come alive. Silence feels sacred. You're hearing not with your ears, but with your essence. This is not imagination, it's intimacy. God reveals mysteries only to those who can handle them with humility. That's why the visions you're receiving now feel heavier, holier, more precise. You're not crazy. You're called into clarity. Handle it with reverence. Revelation without pride births revolution. Your presence is now prophetic. Wherever you go, the atmosphere shifts. People feel calmer, lighter, more hopeful, even if they can't explain why. That's the evidence of the divine moving through you. You're not simply walking into rooms, you're carrying heaven into them. Your silence speaks, your peace heals, your energy corrects. The chosen don't have to announce who they are. Heaven already did that. You've become a living message, an answered prayer wrapped in human form. You are mastering spiritual detachment. This season taught you the sacred art of letting go, not with bitterness, but with blessing. You've learned that holding too tightly to anything blocks the divine flow. Now you release quickly, forgive easily, and trust deeply. That's not coldness, it's clarity. The less you cling, the more heaven can place in your hands. You are finally learning how to love without losing yourself, to serve without self-sacrifice, to give without depletion. That's spiritual maturity at its finest. Divine opportunities are approaching disguised as ordinary moments. Heaven rarely sends miracles wrapped in grandeur. It hides them in conversations, coincidences, and quiet nudges. The next open door might not look divine, but your spirit will know. When Samuel went to anoint David, he almost overlooked him because David looked too ordinary. Yet heaven whispered, "That's the one." So stay alert. The job, the meeting, the invitation, the message, one of them is not random. It's a revelation in disguise. Heaven is preparing to reveal your reward. This is the divine moment you've been sensing, the culmination of everything you've endured. The tension, the preparation, the patience, it all leads here. You're about to step into visibility, not for vanity, but for validation. Heaven is about to prove why it had to take so long. Every silent season will make sense under the spotlight of purpose. You won't need to announce it. The evidence will speak. This next chapter will look like favor, but it's actually fulfillment. Your patience has purchased your promotion. The world told you to hurry, that success was a race and your worth depended on speed. But you refused to chase. You chose to trust, and that decision became your qualification. Heaven always honors endurance over impulse. While others sprinted into temporary victories, you waited for eternal ones. That's why your elevation will look sudden to them, but you'll know it was slowly built through years of faith. Patience didn't delay your blessing, it defined it. Every second you waited in silence was heaven preparing the stage for your arrival. The people watching you are being awakened. You thought no one noticed your persistence, your grace under fire, your quiet faith. But there are eyes on you, not of envy, but of awakening. Your story is becoming someone else's evidence that God is still active. You are not just surviving, you are witnessing. Every small act of obedience radiates through spiritual space, stirring dormant hearts. The chosen never rise for themselves. They rise to remind others that light still conquers. Someone's breakthrough is waiting on your consistency. Keep shining. You are heaven's proof in motion. You've entered the realm of divine reciprocity. For years, you gave without return. You poured into people, prayed for others, supported silently, yet felt unseen. But in the spiritual economy, nothing given in purity is ever lost. Now, the flow reverses. Those who forgot you will witness others honor you. The energy you invested in love is circling back multiplied, not through the same people, but through divine replacement. This is heaven's mathematics. Give without agenda, and God calculates the return. You're stepping into the season where your selfless seeds bloom as supernatural abundance. Your emotional intelligence is becoming spiritual wisdom. You no longer react to everything that once triggered you. That's not indifference, it's divine insight. You're learning that silence can be a strategy and restraint can be a revelation. Every insult you ignored, every misunderstanding you surrendered, added another layer to your strength. You've discovered that not every battle deserves your fire. Some only require your stillness. This calmness you now carry is not weakness. It's authority disguised as peace. Heaven can trust a soul who doesn't misuse power. Heaven is rewriting your reputation. They spoke too soon. They judged your silence as weakness, your isolation as failure. But what they couldn't see was heaven working behind the curtain. Just as Joseph went from prisoner to governor overnight, your name is about to shift in rooms you've never entered. God is speaking your name in places your feet haven't yet stepped. Reputation built by man fades. Reputation rewritten by heaven remains eternal. The story they told about you is ending. The one God is writing is only beginning. You are being entrusted with sacred influence. Influence is not about followers, it's about frequency. Heaven doesn't give visibility to the proud, but to the pure. You've proven your heart's motives, and that's why God can now amplify your voice. Your platform, however small or grand, is holy ground. Use it to lift others, to reveal truth, to spread light. The world doesn't need louder voices. It needs clearer ones. You are not rising for validation, you are rising for vibration. Every word you speak now echoes in eternity. The generational curse has been broken. You felt it, the moment peace finally entered where pain used to live. The patterns that plagued your lineage, fear, addiction, scarcity, have lost their grip because you stood firm. Heaven saw the nights you cried over battles that weren't yours but still demanded your courage. By choosing healing, you freed more than yourself. This victory won't just bless you, it will ripple forward through generations unborn. You are the link that turned history into hope. Heaven calls that redemption in motion. The divine connection is approaching. You've healed enough to meet what's meant for you. The old wounds that made you settle have been sealed. Now, the energy you emit is attracting its spiritual counterpart. This next connection, whether partnership, friendship, or collaboration, will feel effortless. There will be no confusion, no competition, no anxiety, just peace. It's not about romance, it's about resonance. When heaven introduces two aligned souls, the air itself changes. Prepare your heart, the meeting is closer than you think. The impossible is preparing to unfold. There's something you stopped praying for because it felt too late, too far, too broken. Yet heaven didn't forget, it's been waiting for the perfect alignment. Miracles rarely announce themselves. They appear when surrender becomes your language. You've reached that frequency now. That's why the impossible is waking up. Don't try to understand it, just receive it. Heaven is about to prove that too late was only a setup for on time. You've entered the era of evidence. This is where faith becomes visible, where what you believed privately now manifests publicly. You won't have to convince anyone of your calling anymore. The fruit will speak. Every unseen seed, every quiet act of faith, every tear turned prayer, all of it has matured. Heaven's report over you reads one word: fulfilled. This isn't the end, it's the unveiling. You are not waiting for proof, you are the proof. Chosen one, the waiting season is over. The silence that once felt like punishment was actually the sound of heaven rearranging everything in your favor. Every delay was divine timing disguised as denial. Every loss was a holy exchange, your old life traded for a higher one. You've walked through storms that were meant to drown you, but you learned to breathe underwater. You've faced doors that refused to open, only to discover that God was building a new gate with your name engraved upon it. The very tears that burned your pillow became the ink heaven used to write your next chapter. Listen closely now. This isn't just another message. This is a declaration. You are standing at the threshold of divine revelation. The angels who have guided your steps are now positioning your feet for arrival. You don't need to chase. What's yours is magnetized to your faith. You are not behind. You are becoming. You are not forgotten. You are favored. Every trial you've endured was heaven's way of molding a vessel that could carry glory without collapsing under it. That's why you were set apart, not set aside. From this moment on, walk as if it's already done. Speak as if heaven is listening, because it is. Move with conviction, because you are not walking alone. There are angels assigned to your name, guarding every step, whispering every confirmation, aligning every encounter. And before you leave this message, remember, this space, this channel, this community, isn't just digital, it's divine. Every like is a declaration of faith. Every comment is a testimony waiting to ignite another believer's hope. Every subscribe is not about numbers, it's about alignment. You're joining a movement of souls who hear heaven's frequency and refuse to go back to sleep. So rise, chosen one. The angels are guiding your next move. Don't miss it. Heaven has already gone before you. Now, walk boldly into what's been written. Amen.